Yo, so what is up, guys? So WWDC2025 has been confirmed. Now, this is just an overview of the things that we probably could expect at the event. I will most likely do a more in-depth review of everything that we've talked about for this event at the time. So this event has been announced for June 9th, starting Monday, through I believe the 13th, which will be Thursday and Friday, will be the last couple of days of it. June 9th will be the day that Apple will unveil all of the new software systems, such as iPadOS 19, iOS 19, tvOS 19, possibly a visionOS 3, even though that last year's visionOS 2 update was kind of just like one of those 1.5 updates, like it wasn't really as big, macOS 16, and so much more. We think that this year will probably be a bigger overhaul redesign for iOS 19 and macOS 16. And the reason why is just because I think what Apple is doing is they're starting to move over to sort of what the visionOS looks like. Now for iOS 19, this will probably be the biggest overhaul redesign that we've ever gotten since iOS 7. Basically, possibly changing the app icons to make it look more glassy and more minimalistic like visionOS is today. This will also probably bring more, as I said, glassy, transparent icons, making, say, app folders or transparency on the actual phone look much better. This will also bring more intuitive features to the iPhone, such as possibly 8K video for the iPhone 17. We aren't totally sure about that, but that is sort of the idea of what we've been hearing. For watchOS, we aren't totally sure what we'll get for watchOS 12. watchOS 11 was sort of a minor update. It was sort of one of those, like, we added a couple of new apps to the Apple Watch, and so watchOS 12, we aren't totally sure what we could get, but we know that Apple has something new in store for us. tvOS 19 will probably follow the same tvOS 18 layout. However, tvOS 19 will probably bring more features to the Apple TV app and other features to, say, Apple Sports and other sporting apps that Apple is getting ready to launch. tvOS 19 will also probably bring more shows to the Apple TV because, see, now we got like Severance, Ted Lasso, Silo, which, by the way, guys, if you haven't watched Silo, totally recommend it. It was actually a pretty good show. Ted Lasso was also very well done, and it was a very neat show, and it has been confirmed for another season. So if you guys haven't watched that, definitely watch it down below. If you have, definitely leave a comment down below, or just leave a comment down below of what is your favorite Apple TV series or show. Definitely want to hear those. Hit that sub button, and let's continue. For macOS 16, we think that we're going to be getting a more overhauled redesign than what we sort of expected. Now, the last overhaul redesign would probably be in 2020 when macOS Big Sur launched. We aren't totally sure what Apple will call this version of macOS just yet. The last version was Sequoia, then you had Sonoma and Monterey. And so we aren't totally sure what part of California they will, lay this out as. It could be, called the Everglades or the Santa Ana Winds. We aren't totally sure what this one will be called. We know that it will follow the same design structure as the Apple Vision Pro has, where it's more transparent. And I actually like this idea that Apple's going for transparency, because I think it'd be neat. Say you're looking through Finder and you're trying to find a certain photo and it's in like a folder. This would actually make super and a lot more sense, because you'd be able to see more transparent into the folder, and you'd be able to see objects in the folder before you actually click on the folder. And so I definitely think that the whole transparent design is more unique, and especially if you see all the complaints about the Apple Park having too much clean glass, then I think it'd be pretty good. Hardware wise, we aren't totally sure what we could get for hardware. We know that there is a possible chance we could get a new Mac Pro. We think that we'll probably get the same design as we have before with the Mac Pro, the cheese grater, which, to be honest, it if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But it's also kind of disappointing because Apple's been able to shrink down the Mac Mini. The Mac Studio has an insane level of performance and it's smaller. And so I could see Apple shrinking it down, but probably not just yet. We are expecting possibly an M4 Extreme, which will possibly double the max RAM that you can get on the current Mac Pro. This will also probably maximize the amount of displays and the amount of monitors that you can put on it at once. One of the things that I would say is pretty neat about Apple's, naming scheme is that you got like the M4 Max, the M4 Pro, and then you got like the M4 Ultra, which will come out possibly next year. I mean, that wasn't in order. I understand that, but Apple's naming scheme has lately been super weird. It's like you got M3 Pro, M3 Max, and then M3 Ultra, which is better than the M3 Max, even though that most consumers are going to think that the M3 Max is actually better. And then now I think Apple will probably release an M4 Extreme, which possibly could be, say, 2 M4 Ultra chips soldered together to make it an Extreme chip. So, there is a slight chance that we could see the M4 Ultra and the M4 Extreme come out. However, it's also possibly not expected just yet. Like, we could see an M3 Extreme because we already have the M3 Ultra, as you saw in the last video. But let me know what you guys think about this whole update. I think iOS 19 will be interesting, and it'll definitely be one of those cool overhaul redesigns with that new glass transparency and possibly a control center update again. So let me know what you guys think. Hit that subscribe button down below. Go follow us on our socials, and I will catch you guys in the next one. So yeah, peace out. Oh, had to sneeze. Peace out.